What's up, guys, and welcome to the FPL WildCats Live. Thank you so much for joining us. And it looks like we've been invaded by an army, as there have been 32 of you waiting for us to start this stream. So thank you for joining us. If you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe and that like button. And I'll pass you over to Nim to introduce our guest.
Yeah, thanks, Jay, and welcome everyone to the stream, all of you. We're coming to you in the middle of what has been a fairly damp squid of a double game week that was game week 29, or at least for some of us anyway. As you'll see, we have FPL Elite's Jason with us tonight. Hey, Jason, how are you?
Elite FPL. Hi, Nymphria. How you doing?
Yeah, Steve-O's been on, but Jason's first to the Wildcats rodeo.
Yeah, it's a great. I know I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and discuss with you guys about the upcoming game week and be a part of be a part of what you do.
Yeah, cheers, dude. Well, Kurt will be joining us after his footy practice, hopefully. So for now, shall we start by seeing how Jason has got on so far in double game week 29? Do you want to kick us off, Jay?
So yes, starting with my team. Now there was kind of a setup for game week 31 or blank game week 31 going on with my team this week. Obviously, I had some really unfortunate news with Allison, my goalkeeper, being injured, which kind of forced my hand a little bit to make a transfer. Instead of taking out Allison, I decided to keep him in because obviously I'm hoping that he's fine for game week 31. So I took out Button. A pretty much a useless goalkeeper that's on my bench because, of course, I've got the bench boost for my only chip left. So I want to kind of make use of my bench boost in the near future. So I'm thinking, well, solve the problem of having a kind of like a dud player on my bench. Bring in Leno, which just I don't know what's going on, but this season my goalkeeper transfers have just literally been on fire, pure fire. My captaincy picks. And like my other choices and my hits, they've not been so good. But my goalkeeper picks, I don't know what's going on. I even had Ramsdale when he kind of had like a myriad of returns. But yeah, build a team for game week 31. I currently have 9 players, I think, set up for game week 31 at the moment. So I've got like a few game weeks to kind of consider who else to bring in. But obviously, the more I bring in, the problems are going to go, into the game weeks after that. So I'm. Just taking each day as it comes, really looking at my options, thinking about. I know we've got some questions ahead of us about what assets we should be looking at for 31. I've got some thoughts, and I'll be listening in very closely to what your thoughts are as well, because I'm keeping an open mind. But yeah, game week score of 47 -8, so not the best score, but I've saw my rank drop by. Just a slight bit from 175 to 200,000 in the world. So I'm quite happy at the moment. It could have been worse. Got saved with Leno, really. Notably, the biggest disappointment was Aubameyang. We were talking before about this season and how we look at these picks and we think we're kind of safe in some of the picks that, with the form, the fixtures and the logic that goes behind it and all the underlying stats, and Aubameyang just returned nothing. So, but the way the season's going, he might do something against Man City, who knows? But the biggest disappointment me was Aubameyang, and obviously De Bruyne not playing was kind of suspected, but I'm hoping he's back for that game. I'm hoping that game is going to be a bit of a goal fest, but notably Bruno Fernandes. And Saiss was a great transfer in for me, getting bonus 3, even though he got a yellow card. That's not something you see very often in fantasy football. But
no, it's not.
And of course, Williams on the bench for Man United and got him, clean sheet. Should have played him. Should have played him over Aurier. What was I thinking? But yeah, it's nice. It's my team.
Cool. Well, Brett, how did you get on, bud?
Sure. Hey, guys. Not a great game week for me. I think I'm on 42 at the moment with a -4. So my initial plan was to potentially transfer Aguero out for Aubameyang. That was the one free transfer I was weighing up. However, I did see keeping Aguero, who's quite a differential at this point, especially in the sort of top 100k, which I'm sort of chasing. It did seem like quite an opportunity to captain an FPL legend when nobody else has him in a double game week, really. It was sort of like too good of an opportunity to pass up when everyone else was going Aubameyang. So I captained Aguero, kept him. And when Aubameyang blanked then on the Saturday, I think it was, obviously I was feeling very, very positive then about the Aguero captaincy. But every time I get my hopes up about a popular captain doing badly, mine then seems to underscore them. So Aguero got the 1 point, subbed on 58 minutes, potentially injured for Wednesday. Feeling pretty dejected about that. So the game week's still not over for me. If Aguero does play against Arsenal at home, he could bring a decent score there. So the transfers I made this week, with Alisson being out injured, I took out Robertson. Just because they're conceding a few goals, and without Alisson I was a bit worried about the Liverpool double up in defence, so I brought in Doherty, who I kind of wanted for the blank game week anyway. And I took a punt on Pepe of Arsenal. I don't know how that kind of happened, really. I think it was the double game week hype. I kind of got lured in, as we always do. When you see the two fixtures under their name, you just bring them in. The obvious play, I should have brought in Fernandez. He's just a no-brainer. I should have got Fernandez, really. But got lured in by the double game week. Pepe blanked, subbed early. Who knows? Maybe he can do something. But yeah, I'm on 42 with a -4. It's a red arrow, but hopefully Aguero can save me on Wednesday. That's just all I'm hoping for now. I picked Perez over Barnes the other 2 weeks back as well, so that was painful, having a Josie Perez instead of Barnes this week. And that's me.
Yeah, it's been pretty painful for myself as well. I wildcarded this week, and so far my 8 red arrows is about to be 9 red arrows in a row.
Wow.
That is, unless I can get extremely lucky in FPL, which doesn't happen very often, I have to say. I need all my players to start on Wednesday and a goal fest like Jason, he wants it. So I would love one as well. They definitely have to step up, including Brett Aubameyang as my captain.
Yeah.
So have a word there, Brett, please. Elsewhere, my switch from McCarthy and Button to Pope and Krul went very badly, obviously, with McCarthy getting that penalty save. Everybody, when I was doing my wild card, was like, now's your chance to get McCarthy out because, Southampton won't play him anymore. And I kind of just fell for that hook, line and sinker. And yeah, I guess I just panicked and thought, okay, I'll just get somebody who I at least know will play if we're around the same sort of price, even if they're not very good. And I'll leave Pope as my set and forget. And yeah, of course, McCarthy went and stuck the boot in.
I forgot to mention that benched McCarthy this week.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But at least I broke Pope for Jay, so it's all good. I feel like I've done something good in the world.
So hurting me is what you've done good. I appreciate it. Thanks.
My new defence did okay with Baldock and Doherty both getting clean sheets, but yeah, I did sell Lundstrom and Soyuncu to switch for those. So far, selling Rico was about the only good thing about chucking that defence away. I also did Bruno to Mahrez on the very last second, and that was something that had been playing around with in my head as a bit of a 1 week punt with being on the wild card. I thought double game week, go with Mahrez, hope he plays both, smashes it a little bit, and then go straight back to Mahrez because I have been on Mahrez for a couple of weeks. Fernandez, sorry, for a couple of weeks previous to Fernandez, and it just, at the moment it hasn't worked out very well. In fact, as I was doing it, the game told me it was updating. So I put Mahrez in really quickly, and when I pressed confirm, it was like game updating. Basically you've missed it, forget about it. And for like half an hour, I was kind of like, I felt gutted initially. And I was like, I don't actually mind keeping Fernandez in my team. It's fine that the game's updating. Like, I'm okay. I'm done with this now. It's fine. It was meant to be. I'll just keep him and it'll be fine. I signed back in. Mahrez was staring at me and I suddenly had this dreaded feeling like, no! No, why did you do that to me? I was fine with Bruno. Like, I'd come to terms with this. It's completely trolling me. So fully expecting Mahrez not to even bother starting tomorrow night. So that'll be fun. Salah looks as if he was the best captain choice for the front runners at the minute, obviously. I really hope that Watford and Wolves haven't just trolled us all. And, we've all just got on them for the blank and they're about to be absolutely shocking, for a couple of weeks. Got 2 points from Jota and Jimenez. So I was really disappointed because I decided to take a bit of a risk and double up on them. Granted, my other options were Calvert-Lewin, sticking with Ings. So thankfully neither of those
true.
week. But obviously, next week that could be a different story. Yeah, it's the hope that kills you, really, with the wild card, I think. Falling from just outside the 100k to now being near a 600k is like really gutting and feeling like there's not nothing you can do, because a lot of my transfers have been quite correct, but they haven't really just made that much of a difference, because other people in my team then do badly that week. So it's just been a really unfortunate set of circumstances with the right players and things. So
yeah,
I'm just I don't know.
When you get into a rut,
had
it is
so
hard
much.
to know how to get out of it sometimes.
Yeah, it is. I think now I'll just be bat shizzle and have a bit of fun with it, and like minus. I haven't got a wild card anymore, so I won't have that kind of hanging over me. So it'll be like, if I want a -4 this week, I will. If I want a -8 this week, I will. And just hope that my game week will turn around tomorrow night, and that I might just sneak a green arrow. But I think I dropped so far already this week that it's unlikely. Unless Aubameyang scores like 4 goals for me or something, that's actually going to happen. So far it's the same old for me, unfortunately. Jay, how did you get on?
Sorry, I'm a bit distracted by the fact that the Daily Llama puts a 2p piece in his sock when his captain's playing.
Oh,
so
I'll have to try that.
And then people are saying, I hope I don't get that in my change at some point.
Smelly llama penny. Sounds lovely.
Exactly. So as far as my game week goes, you know what, 52 points, I can't complain with 2 players still to play,
nice.
De Bruyne and Aubameyang. To be fair, only Doherty and O'Connell returned for me, along with Salah, who I did want to captain, but then when I brought Aubameyang in, I was just like, I'm bringing in someone for a double game week. Surely I've got to put the captaincy on them.
Yeah.
So again, it's that double game week drawing me in with the captaincy armband. But then Monday night, Harvey Barnes turned up with 19 points. So very happy with that. It seems a bit like it was a week too late. I kind of wanted that last week as well, but I really shouldn't complain. Perez, of course, being benched was a bit annoying. And the fact that Vardy scored when he was the person I transferred out for Aubameyang is just typical. You hold on. Our fixtures are good.
A penalty within 2 minutes of coming on.
That was just.
I was just like, why couldn't they get the penalty before he comes on? It's just so typical. That.
Even more gutting is didn't realise the fan team rule on the weekly monster, which is if he doesn't start, he gets transferred out for a like-for-like player.
It was a soft pen as well.
And I was like, just those Vardy goals really hurt. But I can't complain considering I'm at around 230k. I've got all my chips left to play. I've got 7 players going into blank game week 31, so I can make that up to 9. Traore is an issue because I'm just not sure about his starting time though. So I suppose you could say I'm on 6 if I do want to change Traore. But I suppose I should just keep him and then hope he plays. But yeah, overall, Ings disappointing again, but I think a lot of that had to do with the red card. That kind of made Southampton play a certain way. And yeah, I think moving forward, it's just a matter of getting ready for that game at 31 and then wildcarding after that. Hopefully making the most of the fact that I know a lot of people have used their chips earlier than usual. Usually a lot of people keep them. And I think this year a lot has changed because of the unpredictability. People have used their chips earlier to try and reset their teams. And I think that may play into my advantage because I've managed to hold on to them.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I used my wildcard early to try and... I know because I was doing so badly, I tried to kind of reignite the season a little bit,
Yeah.
And because I wildcarded early, that then changes my plan to use the bench boost. So I always like to use the bench boost and utilize it with the wildcard, because it's a chance to build up your bench and look at the future fixtures.
Yeah.
And for me, it was either bench boosting in 27 or 29, and we saw a lot of people who had the same strategy. They bench boosted in 29 this week, and a lot of success with the bench boost this week. I've seen 30 plus, even 40 plus. Some people that didn't activate the bench boost had 40 on their bench, So it turned out that the bench boosting this single game week in particular was a very, very good strategy.
Yeah. I'll just rewind quickly, to a few weeks in when Jay was just like panicking about being so low down and stuff, and I was like, believe me, you'll be above me by the end of the season. He was like, oh no, I don't know. And look
you say a few weeks ago. It was a while ago. It's taken me a long time to get up to this
but
point.
it's a long season, and we do have to I do say that because for anybody who feels like they can't make their way back, there's still time. It might not be heady heights, but you can definitely still make a dent in, the up and coming fixtures for sure, especially if you've got your chips like you have, Jay. You're in a really strong position. So okay, cool. We will crack on with some questions. And on that, I know, lads, we wanted to we may as well touch upon the chip strategies. So at Gaudi 007 asks, what's your chip strategy going forward, and which players do you see as good differentials for the up-and-coming game weeks? Wood is on his radar. So, Jay, you've just done a video on the chip strategies, right? Do you want to kind of quickly cover a bit of this, and then I'll chuck it over to Jason for his views?
Yeah, sure. So about 2 weeks ago, I did make a video saying this is going to be my chip strategy. And of course, the way this season's going, it changed very, very quickly. I was planning to free hit for Game Week 31. That way I could just ignore it as far as preparation for my team went for the rest of the season. But now, having seen what Game Week 31 looks like, and the fact that I feel like a lot of people will have a certain amount of players from certain teams anyway, I just felt like there might be a better use for my free hit personally. So in the video I did go over what you could do if you don't have your free hit, what you could do if you don't have your wild card, so on and so forth. But for me, my strategy is going to be to use my transfers to get around 8 or more blank Game Week players in for Game Week 31. Then it's to be flexible, purely because this season the doubles aren't as easy to predict as they usually have been. Usually Game Week 34 and 37 is where they get slotted, but there's the potential for a double game week to be somewhere else as well, especially with all the teams that have blanks in 31. And also with what's happening in the world right now with coronavirus, we don't know what's going to happen with games there. So there's a real possibility that the end of this season could be absolutely all over the place. So while this is my plan for now, the plan is to be flexible. But Game Week 32 or Game Week 35 will be the wild card. And then depending on when the wild card is played will rely on when my bench boost or free hit is played. So Game Week 34 and Game Week 37 will be either bench boost or free hit, depending on when I played the wild card.
Cool. Jason, what about yourself?
Very good question. To be honest with you, to have a chip strategy, generally you need to have chips. I've only just got the bench boost left. So my strategy is just to plan ahead a little bit and to be a little bit smarter than others when it comes to transfers. And like I mentioned, I've got 9 players at the moment that should be playing in the blank game week. I possibly will just roll 2 free transfers into that and then plan ahead after that, and obviously use my bench boost. My plan is to use that in game week 37. So Steve-O knows my plan now. So Steve-O, you're watching this? Get me, ball. Come get me. But yeah, just want to say hello to all the guys in the chat as well from Elite FPL. Guys,
hi guys.
Subscribe, give the stream a like, hit them up on social media.
Oh, cheers, Jay. That's very kind. No, we're big fans. Really, always have been. We love to work together. So cheers for that. And we're
Cool.
big fans of yours. So this means a lot to have you on.
Pleasure. Like
couldn't
I said,
have you on when Steve-O was on, but we got you now. We got you.
We're kind of opposites, me and Steve-O. We work kind of like we live different lives, but yeah, we're
like
the same
Batman
person,
and Robin.
Yeah,
same person.
Yeah,
just
don't
like
see
a
us
full-on
together in the
suit.
same room. You'll never see us together in the same room. That's fine.
Cool. Well, back to the chip question. I have my bench boost and free hit left. I've just wildcarded, so I have built a somewhat team for 31, although I didn't go mad because clearly looking at this game week, it kind of feels like whatever we expect to happen in game week 31 won't happen. So I've tried not to go too nuts on kind of filling my team with those players. I think I have 8 currently, and I've already done my transfer for this week. I did switch Mara straight back to Bruno because I'm not afraid to kind of recorrect a mistake, as you guys know. So if I have to take a hit this, towards the end of the week because of KDB being out or something like that, then I will. But the good thing having just wildcarded is hopefully I have a half decent bench to come in if I do get any other problems in the rest of the week. But I can't tell you which week I'm going to use my bench boost and my free hit yet, because we obviously don't know what's going to happen in each of them. But it will be 34 and 37. So, it's nothing new there really. What about you, Brett? You're all done now, are you? Or do you have your one left?
I've still got the free hit left,
Free hit.
which, other than the wild card, arguably is the strongest chip, really. It's an important one to have. Like I said, I used the bench boost earlier just because I'd wild carded early. I would have loved to have wild carded it close up to the double game weeks late into the season and then bench boosted in those. But because I wild carded early, that kind of changed my plan a little bit. And I just bench boosted in a week where the fixtures were okay, you know. So I've got the free hit left, and I know in the last stream we did talk a lot about how with Liverpool being through now, getting eliminated from the FA Cup, they obviously play 31. Lots of us have triple Liverpool. You know,
I chose not to go triple Liverpool on my wild card, believe it or not.
Interesting. Well, I don't anymore now because of the Alisson injury. I dropped Robertson, so at the moment I've only got 2. I mean, I brought in Doherty, who plays that week as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we spoke a lot in the last stream about, you know, how the free hit wasn't as strong for 31 now because lots of teams will be able to prepare with the maybe triple Liverpool, triple Wolves, one of Watford and Burnley, that kind of thing. But I don't know, thinking more about it, I'm still not definitely not free hitting in 31, if that makes sense. And it's still on the cards for me to free hit 31 personally.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like starting to sway back towards using it in 31.
I actually suggested that if you don't have the wild card, free hit GAMEWEEK 31 makes sense because then you just use transfers for the rest of the season. Yeah,
and that's kind of, and I'm going to shout out 2 people because it was like a little Twitter discussion. So on Twitter at FPL Fella, he said there's no point in free hitting in GAMEWEEK 31 as everyone will have 3 times Liverpool, 3 times Wolves, 1 or 2 West Ham, Spurs, 1 of Watford, 1 of Burnley, 1 of Spurs, or close to that. And I get what he's saying. That's kind of what everyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
The counter argument from at simplegoal_FPL, he's basically saying, well, free hit isn't just for 1 week. You know, the point is if we transfer these players in to get 2 times West Ham, 1 times Spurs, 1 times Watford, 1 Burnley, we then got to stick with them in our team. We're stuck with those players in our team. So, you know, do I really want to keep ignoring players that blank like Fernandes just because he blanks in 31, you know? Whereas if I free hit in 31, I can have Fernandes either side, you know? And it's because I like Jay said, because I haven't got the wild card now, it's different, you know, because we could dead end into 31 and get 1 Burnley and 1 Watford and you know, 1 Spurs, and then you wild card in 32 and it doesn't matter. For someone like me, do I really want to get in like Dele Alli and Antonio and Ismail Assar and players like this that I'm then kind of stuck with for a long time because it's hard to transfer them all back out again, you know?
Yeah.
So at the moment,
what it is? It's Aubameyang that makes my confusion more difficult on this subject. Is because like his fixtures straight after 31 are really quite good.
Norwich at home 32.
If he continues on, like if he does well this week, it's going to be really hard to like. Not only that, I've earned a fair bit of cash on him now in a couple of weeks. It's like he would be the easy make way to go to somebody for 31 to free up cash so that I could get somebody like Mane, say, for KDB. But all of that depends on Aubameyang being good and KDB not continuing to be injured. Because if KDB is back and Aubameyang ends up doing well tomorrow evening, both of those things throw that completely out the window for GAMEWEEK 31, because then you're like, well, I'd only want them back for GAMEWEEK 32. So it is difficult for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not decided on it yet, but 31 free hit isn't off the cards for me because I'm at this point. I feel like I'm a transfer 2 or 2 behind already now. I don't like my team at the moment. All of a sudden.
But Brett, what do you think the average? Like, just try to predict the future now and
Come on,
look at the fixtures in 31. What do you think the GAMEWEEK average is going to be? We're using a free hit chip in that week. Is it really going to pay off? Are you going to be happy with it? Like that. That's the thing. Like the fixtures are okay, but they're not spectacular. And it's one of those where, you know, it's the hindsight thing coming in. And by the way, I want you to ask me later on. I've got this idea for a chip in FPL that just came into my head. Literally, I read someone in chat talking about a chip in FPL, and I just thought, oh my god, I've just worked out a really cool chip.
So you've seen somebody else suggest it, and now it's your idea.
Well, no,
You talked yourself into that.
Sorry, we can scrub the chat later, guys. It's fine. But yeah, it's the free hit, I think, can be saved. It all depends. Like I agree with what you're saying. I think that some people, or a lot of people, are going to be kind of looking at Game Week 31 as this like sort of an opportunity to score some good points, but they're going to be led down this dark path, and they're going to be disappointed. This is my opinion, I think, because I just don't see that game week being a high scoring game week, and I think they're going to get themselves in a bit of a jiffy, or a bit of a trap. So I think that there's a better use of the.
Is it possible for me to agree with both of you? Because
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think Game Week 31 will be high scoring. I think the point of Game Week 31 for everyone is to try and get around the same as everyone else.
Get the
average. So you don't drop rank. And I think if you don't have the possibility of resetting straight after Game Week 31, then the only thing possibly to do is to just reset Game Week 31 on its own, and then you play everything else.
Yeah, you definitely, But I think the question is, what we're going to be moving on to in a minute. I don't want to kind of overlap the questions, but it's like,
we overlap all the time.
How many players can you get away with in Game Week 31?
Yeah, okay. So let me quickly read that out then,
because I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. I'll just quickly read that question out then, and you can finish your point, Jay. So Rayhan, he told me off for pronouncing it wrongly last week, so sorry. _ Gunner asks, what's the minimum amount of players I need for Game Week 31? I'm on course for 7 available, thus saving the free hit and double game week down the road. He says, much love to us, guys. And RP asked something similar, actually. He says, how many players would be enough to own for Game Week 31 to not fall in rank? So, Jace, we kind of covered it, but is there anything else you'd kind of add?
I mean, that's a really good question. It's like planning and using your chips. It's really important, especially this stage in the season where we're coming into like the final furlongs now, and I think that you can probably get away with having 6 or 7 kind of key players for Game Week 31 if you haven't got a chip, or if you're not looking to use your free hit. I think that like the likes of Mane, Salah. I mean, you probably don't want to go with a triple of Liverpool, but like Jota, I've written down some like Doherty, Saiss, these players sort of. We've talked about Burnley players if you wanted to go on the Burnley, but I don't think they're sort of like key players for me. But like and Jimenez if he starts to get back in form. But my personal opinion is that you can survive Game Week 31, I think, with about 6 or 7, maybe maximum 8, without having too much of an issue. I mean, I'm prepared for you guys to disagree. I welcome it.
Yeah, I think falling in rank will depend how well your team does RP, and of course we don't really know what the average is going to be yet. So
it comes down to nailing the captaincy as well, because lots of people have Mane and Salah, for example. They really hold together. Some will captain Salah, they might get lucky. Others might captain Mane, and one's going to outscore the other. I remember some teams when Salah, I know it's a bit of an outlier, but when Salah got like 4 goals against Watford, some people went into that with like 5 players, but they captained Salah and they still had like 90 points, like if you nail the captaincy, you're probably still going to be fine whether you have 5 players or 9, so that'll be a big part of it.
I remember the year before last, actually, the blank where Liverpool were in it. I was in the hospital at the time, and so I just had nothing kind of like FPL going on in my head. So I'd had my team set up before I went in, and I captained a pool player, and I had above average on that week with 7 players. And I came out of the hospital with small green arrow, and I was like, how have I managed that? Because half of my team was missing, and I was like, well, I haven't done anything spectacular. I haven't even thought about it. I literally just left my team as it was with the players I like to have. Not sold any of my blanks that I wanted to keep going forward. Nailed the captain, as you said, Bred, and actually came out of it, okay. And I think that's the point with something like 31, is that unless you've got all your chips like Jay, then coming out of 31 okay is probably fine. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what you're aiming to, is just to not drop too far or to get that small green arrow. Or but yeah, I think nine or more is probably like fabulous, like, you know, optimal.
Definitely. Yeah.
If you can get that. Anything less than that, you know, it depends on how you feel about blank game week and whether you feel you're really going to make a lot of ground by, you know, by free hitting and getting in those extra few players. Because for me, a fair few of those wouldn't be any different. I've got Saar, I've got 3 Wolves, I've got Salah, I've got Trent, I've got Pope, you know, so it would be literally the only ones I'd be chasing, I guess, would be if I could somehow shoehorn Mane in, which again would mean selling Aubameyang, KDB, or getting a Spurs midfielder, you know, and it's just who would I sell in order to do that. So I think I'm probably going to end up just getting somebody random in defence just to have another game week player, and probably going into it with 10, you know.
Yeah, it's just, without repeating myself, it's just more the other game weeks, you know, the game week before, the game week after.
Yeah, it's different when you don't have as many players, I think.
I realise that free hitting in 31 probably won't be that fruitful, because I will end up with a lot of the same players that most people have. They're going to captain Salah or Mane. I could either get that wrong or right. That could ruin the free hit for me instantly if I get a Mane blank and a Salah haul that I don't have, or something like that. It's more, you know, I'm going to have to make 2 transfers now to get 8 players for 31. Or if I want to get 9 or 10, that's a -8, you know, -4, -8. You know, then I'm stuck with them. Do I want to bring in Antonio and Saar and ignore Fernandez for another couple of weeks? And it's more thinking about my team long term now, you know. That's why I'm thinking 31. Not because I think it could be really successful in that week specifically, but I might be able to focus building my team better for the last, like, you know, 10 game weeks now. I need to really sit down and like plan what I want my team to look like if I wasn't to use the free hit, but I haven't really done that yet.
Cool. Okay, and we're just going to quickly go to break and get Kurt in because he's back, and then we'll continue on with the questions. So get those questions in the chat, guys, because we'll once Kurt has filled us in on his team, we'll come straight to the questions in the chat.
Okay, guys, thank you for being patient. We have been joined by Luka Modric. Thank you so much, Luka, for joining us after your training session with Real Madrid. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on FPL and how your team's been doing. So, Luke and Modric, take it away.
Don't be fooled, I do have a surprisingly English accent for a Croatian man. Yeah, so far so good. Obviously, we've got the Man City Arsenal game to go. Pepe is my captain this week just purely because he had a double game week. My vice captain was Ings, so positive is already outscored him with a 6. 56 points so far. It's actually looking all right. My back line was brilliant. I decided to make a change looking into I had to make a call if I was going to do free hit on 31 or not. I decided not to and trying to play with like 8 to 9 players. I brought in Willy Bolly for that matter. Got 8 points this week, so that's a nice little grab. And Van Dijk and also Pereira got 6 points each. Dele Alli coming up with a penalty for the...
Yeah, he's done all right the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the toxic Tottenham team, but needless to say, he's doing all right.
Plays in 31 as well, so...
Exactly, that's the reason he's staying along with Aurier, despite the fact Aurier...
Don't talk about your old team like that.
They also had Vardy. I completely forgot about Vardy. I thought I transferred him out. Obviously, I didn't. And he scored 11 points.
Such a curt thing.
That's
such
you
a
were
curt
one
thing.
of them.
Yeah. I was meaning to, but it would have been a -8, so I thought I'd best not do too much this week. I kept in Fernandes. He was going to go. Got another assist in a poor performance from Edison, but needless to say, he got the assist off a poor bit of goalkeeping, and then a couple of 2 points here and there. Leaves me looking quite nice on 56. I've got the Arsenal City game to go, and to be fair, before this weekend, I was thinking Pepe will get about 5-6 points, but I'm looking at City at the moment. The way they play against Man United, I think Pepe, if he starts, which obviously he's coming off the back of a 1-0 disappointing win against West Ham, could potentially get some points there, but it's a could. City could bounce back. You never know.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, it's good to have you back, dude. It's been a little while. You're settled in your new crib now.
Sort of. Yeah, I've only had internet for about a week, so it's been quite nice to have internet. But yeah, everywhere's a mess. I'm still trying to find places for things. There's boxes in rooms, but I'm getting there.
I did see on your Instagram that you're quite enjoying the bath.
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying the bath bombs as well.
Anyone who wants to check that out, go to Kurt's Instagram. Okay, anyway, moving on with the questions. Outside 472809885 says, with transferring Marcus Alonso in for Van Dijk or Robson, I'll be free hitting in game week 31. So, Jason, what do you think? Alonso in for Van Dijk or Robson?
Could pay off. I mean, it's the fixtures: Villa away, West Ham away. Arguably favourable for him to get something in those games. I think that I think if you're looking to get rid of one of the two, probably Van Dijk, and I can see the thought process in that. I like Alonso. I don't own him. I don't have any plans to own him at the moment, but I like him as a player. He's an FPL legend.
Yeah, go Alonso.
Exactly. So, but the thing is with Chelsea, I don't know if I'm. The thing is, I'm backtracking now.
I like the move.
Yes,
do it.
No.
I like the move, but there's a reason why I'm not doing that move. Because I'm not that convinced with Chelsea, but I think that it depends on who you are going to take out, really. And how confident you are with Alonso. I mean, recent form shows that he is getting the right areas. He is making the key passes. He's a great attacking threat, but it's just that you just want to be confident in the team he's playing in. So go with your heart, my friend. # play your own game. Go with your heart and make the right choice.
Yeah. No, I think given what we've seen from Villa last night, I'd be willing, if I was free hit in 31 and you could get Alonso, I think maybe give it a go, especially until we know when Alisson's back.
Yeah.
Is what I think anyway. But
Kurt, forgot about that, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Kurt, what about yourself?
Is Alonso playing against Villa at 31?
No, in the next game. He plays in the next game.
He's using his free hit, so...
He's using it free hit.
Well, I'll be getting Alonso in against that Villa defence. That was shocking last night. That was one of the worst defensive performances I've seen in the Premier League in some time. They were dreadful. Alonso in general, it all depends on Chelsea. He looks as if he's got his first team spot back, but you never know of Alonso. He can hit the ground running. I mean, I remember, I can't remember if it was last season or the season before, he scored 3 goals in the first 2 games or something like that, or 2 free kicks against Spurs. He can do things like that, but he can have periods where he's out of the team and he's quiet and he's off after 70 minutes. So if he's in the first team and he's guaranteed to be playing, I'll be getting him in 100%.
Yeah, I think if you go free transfer and and you're free hitting 31, it could be worth just a bit of a shout. But does anyone else have anything to add to that before we go to a question in the chat?
Yeah, just quickly. I don't want to just kind of echo what you guys have said, but I do rate the move. So Alisson, I think in the press conference, just looking at Premier injuries now, it says that he should be 100% maybe after the international break. So that takes us up to game week 32 where he could be back for Liverpool. And in game week 32, Liverpool are away to Man City. So that's not a great game to have the defenders for anyway. So I think there's a lot of merit in moving to Alonso. The last 4 game weeks, 11 shots, the most of any defender in the last 4. Most on target with 3 shots on target. All 3 goals that he scored have been the 3 shots on target. So that's a little bit, obviously, crazy conversion rate. But the only drawback I would say is I'm not sure I trust Chelsea defensively away from home. And 4 of their next 5 games, excluding the blank, are away from home. They're playing a lot of away games coming up. But with Alisson out injured, I mean, I've jumped off the double defence now. And I think Alonso's a great replacement. So, even if they don't keep clean sheets, he's got so much goal threat. So I do rate the move. Also, just very quickly, a shout out to Dre Zira in the chat, who says that Alonso is suspended in the Champions League as well.
Oh, okay.
So potentially a bit of rest there. I don't know that for sure, but that's what Dre's error is saying in the chat, which is a really good point if true. So
Dre.
So there you are. Yeah, good choice, I think.
Okay, do we have a question in the chat? Maybe Jay could go
Well, yeah, because
first.
Brett took my stats.
Sorry. Sure. Well,
so I have nothing else to add.
Well, sorry about that, Jay. A quick shout to Anish in the chat, who also asked about Alonso. So there you go, Anish. That's kind of job done. Okay, so Samia Khan wants to know what we think about Mason Mount, another Chelsea option. Obviously, good fixtures coming up now. I think he's back in the goals, wasn't he, in the previous game? So, Jay, any thoughts on Mount as a potential option?
Well, I like how I always get the one where I've got to wing it off the top of my head. But off of the research I did on midfielders, he didn't jump out with underlying stats to suggest that it's like a return to form when there was that period, of course, where he was doing really, really well. That might just be because I wasn't looking for him, though. But what I will say in defence of that kind of pick is the fact that while Chelsea are not necessarily that good defensively away, they are very capable of scoring goals away. And to be fair to them, they have a lot to play for the tail end of this season. Potentially the likes of Liverpool, you're going to be looking at a side that could win the league early, might have Champions League to focus on, whereas Chelsea need to make sure they keep that top 4 spot. There's a lot of talk about Man City potentially not being in Champions League next year, but from what I've heard, if they appeal it, the process will go long enough that they'll probably still be in the Champions League next year, and then the actual decision will be made the year after. So it could still be a case that you need the top 4 to get Champions League places. So that means Chelsea have to stay above the likes of Man United, who are only 3 points behind them, and then you've got, of course, Wolves and Sheffield United, both only 5 points behind them. So they need to keep winning games. They need to start scoring goals, because defensively they aren't the best team defensively. They're not likely to keep clean sheets in those away games. So I think goals will come there, and it's just whether you think Mount is going to be the one that is involved in either the assists or the goals.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else, Nim? What do you think?
I think Jay's right. There's some value to be had in Chelsea given their situation for sure. It might just be which one do you go for?
Yeah.
Is it Mount? Is it Is it Willian? Is it
Is it
Pedro?
Giroud? Giroud right at the end of the season.
I'm looking at Giroud. I am
mean,
looking at Giroud on the
I've
screen.
been looking at Giroud.
Do you guys know that Mount's got a little flag for the muscle injury? Do you know much about that? I don't.
No, I didn't.
He came off after 59 minutes, 60 minutes odd, and I assume that's for the injury. I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Have a quick check on Premier injuries.
Yeah, I mean, he's not exactly been setting the world on fire, but it's a good point that Chelsea really do need to keep their foot on the gas. I mean, it's not over and there's all to play for. And he has historically been quite involved. It's just that, up till recently, he's just not really done anything.
Yeah, he's been a lot of minutes too and hasn't really gotten the points,
It's not someone that's an immediate consideration for me. But again, if you're looking to be, thinking outside the box, could be something that could pay off and you could all look like a genius.
Well, chuck the name out there. What about Ross Barkley? He started 2 of the last 3 games. The 2 he started in, he's got 9 points and
we've been there
11 points.
That's what I was going to say. He draws you in. Everyone brings him in, and then it's like, oh, this is why I never brought Ross.
It's like Richarlison, isn't it? It's like, he draws you in with a flurry of returns, and then all of a sudden he just goes anonymous. But
or benched.
It's the lure of playing Villa next as well. After seeing them ship so many goals to Leicester, it's such a tantalising fixture. There could be a big haul for any of those players, really. I don't know enough about Chelsea to know if this is like a valid point. But with Barkley, I know that Kovacic is out injured. I don't know if that kind of gives Barkley a bit more security on minutes or not. I don't really know what formation they'd be playing and stuff. But that could make Barkley an interesting shout as well, because I know Kovacic is out for a little bit at the moment. So, I'm just not on Mount. I'm not too sure. I'm not fancying that personally. He's a convenient option for people who want to get off Perez now. If you've got Perez like I have, I quite like the shout of a Chelsea midfielder. But like Jason was saying,
I'd lean towards like a Pedro or Willian if I was going to go with either. If I was going to go with Chelsea mid, to be
potentially
honest.
more explosive. Willian especially. Willian's sort of guaranteed the minutes. He's the man that sort of Lampard's trusting a lot more.
In contract negotiation as well at the moment, isn't he, Willian?
Yeah, so that pushes them as well, doesn't it? Because they want to prove that they're worth a few more quid.
I believe he wants 3 years, but they're only offering him 2. But,
interesting. And we're always looking at momentum shifts, and Chelsea after that 4-0 win against Everton, but maybe this is a chance for them to go on a purple patch now, so that's always good. So I like the idea of getting one of their options. I just don't think Mount would be the one I would get. And
it's all going to very much depend on your chip strategy again, isn't it? Because if you get on Chepstow what I talk about, if I get on Chelsea this week, then obviously you're gonna have to worry about the blank the week after, unless you're going to transfer them straight back out, or you're going to free hit.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Or put them on your bench. So Anyway, our Prista View asked, name players for the 31 blank game week that are not from Liverpool, Wolves, or Watford that you would consider for your teams. So, Jay, what do you think?
They're not from which team? Sorry, Nim.
Wolves, Liverpool, or Watford.
Okay, so I'm going to try and not just take every player, so everyone else has a chance to say some players here. But I saw Harshal asked in the chat about West Ham options, so I'll kind of focus on the West Ham side of things, and then everyone else can fight over the rest of them. Look, I'm not suggesting that they're season-long keepers at all, but if you were going for blank game week, Mikel Antonio, 7 attempts in the last 4, 6 from inside the box, 6 big chances, also creating 6 chances, 3 of them being big chances. And Jared Bowen has impressed me, 8 attempts, 4 from inside the box, 2 big chances. Seems to have an eye for goal from outside the box as well. So those are 2 players that I would consider in game week 31.
Yeah, what about you, Jace?
So I think Chris Woods for Burnley, but I'm going to kind of throw a name into the hat that you guys are probably going to be like, But remember this guy that everyone was jumping on, guy called Callum Wilson. We're not a fan of Callum Wilson on the Wildcats. Started the season like a house on fire, just was returning in pretty much every game, and
then we bought him.
Yeah, and everyone bought.
Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, and then Bournemouth went down the pot. But
where's the
scored
sad
against
music button.
Sad violin. I think the game against Chelsea, where the VAR. I mean, I know the VAR's kind of broken a lot of people's hearts this season. I just think they were really unlucky, Bournemouth, in that Chelsea game. I felt that they could have possibly deserved the win. He didn't do anything in that. He didn't return in that, but he did get a goal away at Liverpool. And I'm just thinking, like, Bournemouth, they are fighting for their lives at the moment. I'm just thinking, like, maybe that it could be an option. Callum Wilson. I know that a lot of people are like burnt by him and they don't really want to look at him, but I just want to throw that name into the hat.
Yeah, cool. It's it's definitely one from the team that he that he didn't mention. So that's cool, dude.
He's such an important player for Bournemouth, isn't he?
Yeah,
like, he's like the talisman. He's the main focal point up front, and I'm just thinking like.
I just have had great use out of the Wilson gift for the years.
Yeah.
So it would be another chance to use that, if nothing else. Wow's that?
I mean, here's a question for you guys. Are you all looking at Bournemouth as dead and buried right now? Just questions we're throwing out there, you guys.
Yeah.
I can't say I don't think I've considered any of their options.
I think with Ryan Fraser kind of off the boil as well. I think
and
that was
Kingy
a big part
as
of
well.
their last season. King, Harry Wilson, while he came in and looked good at the beginning, isn't really doing that. I just don't see the players around Wilson to really have a massive.
I knew I was going to be the only one. I knew. That's why I'm here.
I checked just to see if I could argue Wilson, and then I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay, I've got one, and it's a name that I got shot down on this stream for a few months ago when I put it out there with my pop-in partner, Victavius. Ayu!
I knew you were going to say that.
So I'm just putting it out there again. Ayu!
I've actually got his stats. It was a player that I would suggest, especially if you're free hitting. 11 attempts, 9 from inside the box, 1 big chance in the last 4. So the big chances aren't that high, but he's shooting. So
in my mini league, he is the player more recently that I just sit there and look at the other teams and think, what? How? What? They've all got him in, and I'm starting going.
Well, he's cheap, isn't he? He's a nice player to put on your bench.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and obviously Crystal Palace, most things go through Zaha, so we've all been a bit trolled by him, but you could consider him as a bit of a punt, I guess. And yeah, what about you, Brett? Anybody that stands out? I know you're on some Burnley defence, aren't you, out there? So.
Yeah, I've had Charlie Taylor since the wild card, and he's been a very handy option. I bought him at like 4.2, seems to be nailed in the team now. We know that Burnley on their day can be very defensively solid and can rack up some clean sheets. I think they might be top for clean sheets now, potentially. Don't quote me on that, but they're right up there. So he's a handy squad option for sure, and obviously plays in 31. Just quickly, as you were talking, I was writing down one name for each. So I did put Callum Wilson for Bournemouth. He's the only player I would look at from that team. I know he's a massive troll for me, but 3 goals in the last 6, so he's kind of ticking over the last couple of game weeks. And like Jason said, they're struggling and they need someone to score. They need to fight to stay up. So he's got a lot of incentive to really try and, save them. I wrote Ayu for Crystal Palace in him. I was tempted to write Van Aanholt, but I think back-to-back or 3 clean sheets on the bounce now. But the fixtures do turn quite difficult for Palace, so I'm not sure the clean sheets are going to stay. Liverpool away, Leicester away, Chelsea at home, United, Tottenham all to play, Wolves away. Some tricky games there for Palace. So as a budget option, I use a good one. Granted, away to Liverpool in 31, but still an option. Still plays. Antonio, I put for West Ham. I think he likes to score against Spurs, so he did last season maybe. So in 31 plays Spurs, I can see Antonio scoring there. And then for Burnley, that's the tougher one. I'm not sure because there's lots. There's Wood, McNeil, Pope. Any of those could pay off on the day. I can't really nail one option down for Burnley, but
Jay Rodriguez had 18 attempts in the last 4 as well.
Yeah,
18 attempts in goal.
Well, who's that? J-Rod?
J-Rod, yeah. 18 attempps, 14 from inside the box, 5 big chances.
Steve
Only scored 1 of them, but
Steve absolutely adores Jay Rodriguez.
Is he on penalties there?
I think he's got a poster on his wall.
I don't know. I think he might be.
A beach scene, Anyway, no more.
Cool.
maybe on pens. But yeah, just probably Pope for me is the best option from Burnley, I think.
So after all of that, Pope.
Yeah.
Not done me wrong.
If I had to pick one, there's lots of options.
I've broken him now, so don't go anywhere near him. Kurt, and anyone else you'd like to add?
Well, I have Pope, and I think he's a good option. Dwight McNeil's another one. I think he looks in form, and I think it
Westwood,
a few times. Well,
or we could even go to Will Hughes.
Last time we questioned
It's
him on
a
Westwood,
bit
he
fair.
scored from a corner. So,
Yeah.
Just saying.
I've noticed a few times this season that in games where Dwight McNeil, or if it was Dwight McNeil was any other player, they wouldn't get bonus points. I think last week he got bonus points, didn't get a goal, didn't get an assist. So that's one thing that excites me. If they're getting bonus points, they're doing something that, is liked by the algorithm. The other one is a bit of a sort of an IU type shout in terms of bit out there, probably not the best, but could also do well. Gaeta for Crystal Palace, with Liverpool potentially stumbling. They haven't looked confident in a victory. I can't think of once in the last month. Lost games as well.
McCarthy's a good option. In
nothing could be more Hodgson than having Gaeta come in 0-0, clean sheet, and make about 20,000 saves.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I've got his thing. I love having Guaita. Yeah, I do rate him as a good goalkeeper.
Cool. Okay. At Kev 1987 asks Cathcart or Messina versus Messina. So we'll just quickly get a quick roundup, I think, or try at least. Yeah. So Kurt, Cathcart versus Messina.
Messina?
Yeah.
Who? I don't even know the player called Messina. So I can't really answer that one.
So okay.
So you're Cathcart then.
Cathcart for
Cathcart.
Kurt.
Yeah, go Cathcart.
Okay. What about you, Jay?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, as a loyal Cathcart owner, I must stick to my decision and say Messina. Definitely Messina.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I bought Messina on my wild card.
Okay.
So
he's broken them.
Yes, just stick with Cathcart. Yeah, he didn't get a clean sheet this week or a return. So I think Cathcart is arguably the safer option out of the two, but I fancied the kind of potential attacking threat. But Jay, Cathcart versus Messina?
Well, Messina, because Cathcart's had no attacking threat in the last 4, whereas Messina's at least had 1 attempt on goal and 2 chances created.
Get in all day long. Goal 31.
I don't think he's actually going to get any returns, but Messina might.
You know it. Brett, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out Edison in the chat as well, because just before you asked
Edison is in the chat. Hey,
not that
one. Not the Edison, the goalkeeper, but Edison Messini is quite a frequent viewer of the stream. Hey, Edison.
Hey, Edison.
He, just before you asked that question, he said people are sleeping on Messina. He's a good budget enabler, because we were all talking about Charlie Taylor. So yeah, he started the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's started to play the full 90 in the last 8 games. So he's nailed, and he's taken a couple of corners in that time as well. He's on some corners, and only 4.3 million. So yeah, I would go him over Cathcart just for the extra attacking potential.
Cool, thanks for the stats to back me up there, dude. When Cathcart scores a brace for Jason next week.
It's going to happen.
Okay.
I'll tell you what happens, I'll say I knew it all along. And I can't reveal my secrets, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Because Steve-O's watching.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And there's another hole in the wall right there. Boom.
Okay, at FPL Deep would like to know, who is your captaincy options? No Mane in his team. So,
what, for game week for this game week?
Yeah.
Game week 30.
Yeah. For myself, I'm between Salah, Aubameyang, and Fernandez. That was a bit of a shout. So, you're right there, Jace?
Yeah, I was gonna try. I was trying to work out how to do an A.
An A.
Yeah, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Anyway,
sound down.
Yeah, Salah or Aubameyang for you?
Yeah, Salah or Fernandez is an outside shout.
Exactly.
In fact, it's on Fernandez at the minute.
Have you got him in there already?
Yeah, did it.
Oh, what a player, though. Can we just spare a moment to appreciate Bruno Fernandes. Like,
everybody, put your hands up in the air for Fernandes.
What a breath of fresh air!
He's gone to Man U though. That's the problem.
Exactly. I mean, what a breath of fresh air in that Man United midfield. I mean, absolutely. Like, his feet are firmly on the ground. He's not a prima donna. He literally gets the job done, and he's a
saved your season.
Class player. Pogba, mate, on your bike. We've got Bruno now. We've got Bruno.
I was going to say, he's got the skill of Pogba without the arrogance of Pogba.
Oh, absolutely.
His head is well and truly on the ground. He's level-headed on his shoulders. And when he comes onto the pitch, he does it for the team, not to think, I'm doing it for myself, which is clearly what Pogba thinks.
Oh, yeah, it's all about Pogba's all about him.
Pogba, you're still welcome on the show if you want to come on.
I had a dream about you once, dude. Jesus. Not like that. Okay.
This is what we've missed.
This kind of dodgy ground. Wildcats after dark. What was I going to say? This is when FPL for me kind of reminds me why I love the game, because more recently I found it really difficult. It can be really hard kind of lifting yourself up, but it's like players like Fernandes that I think really kind of allow you in FPL to focus on players in other teams that you wouldn't necessarily focus that much attention on. I think sometimes when you're just following your own team in the Premier League, so if I was just not playing FPL, just supporting Arsenal, I don't think I'd really notice the brilliance quite so much of Fernandes. Of course, I'd go, he looks really good or whatever. But I think when you're playing FPL, it gives you that opportunity to really kind of, when a player is in form and they hit form and they really make a big impact on a team, I think that's when it's like kind of cool, like to, you can get them in your team and you can be a part of that, and kind of, it's hilarious when you would never find yourself supporting United, and yet there you are going like, come on, Fernandes. That's the brilliance of FPL sometimes. So I just kind of wanted to like stick that in there. Cool.
Steve supports Liverpool every week, even though he's apparently a Burnley fan. Just throwing it out there.
Just throwing it out there. Yeah, Steve, we're on to you, man. We're on to you. Glory hunting.
I know he's watching it. He's going to watch this back at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, so he can't even kind of defend himself.
No.
We'll I see. That's why you're getting the shots in while you can. Cool. Okay, Brett, can we have one more question in the chat before we go over to Jeff's corner, please?
Sure. Okay, so Dread FPL wants to know which 2 teams do we think will provide the best assets from now until the end of the season, where we're likely to have 2 from each of those teams in our starting 11. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, Liverpool maybe is a bit of an obvious one. Maybe we'll try and get a bit more creative with it. Anyone want to go first? Jay, is there any particular team other than Liverpool that you are kind of relying on now, you think, to the end of the season?
I mean, I think, unfortunately, we've mentioned a lot of the teams I'd be looking at if I was actually thinking of, like, doubling up, that there's enough assets there for me to pick more than one. I think Wolves is one of them. I still think they're going to push to the end of the season to see how high they can finish. I think they've got past that issue with the Europa League where it was kind of affecting their form at the beginning of the season. I don't think that's necessarily an issue. Potentially, they're trying to postpone one of their Europa League games as well, apparently. So that could affect when they have double game weeks, could affect more blanks. I don't know exactly how it works. I haven't looked into it that much. So Wolves would be one. And I really think Chelsea, not necessarily any defensive assets there, but I think if you can pick the right players from Chelsea, Alonso probably being one just for the attacking threat, and then maybe your Giroud or your Willian. Arsenal's fixtures, not too bad. They might want to push on at the end of the season. I think for me it's a lot about, are they trying to achieve anything when it comes to, like, say, the last 4 game weeks of the season, or have they pretty much wrapped up their season? Other than that, I think if you look at the teams that are fighting to survive relegation, I don't think any of them really have, like, a lot of options there. They have one, like, key standout player, maybe another one that you could look at. But I think Wolves are definitely the one that I will be going into with at least 2 players for the rest of the season.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Chelsea's fixtures are pretty awesome, to be fair, for the rest of the season until game week 37, where they're away to Liverpool and they play Wolves at home in game week 38. So 2 tricky ones to find at the end, but Villa away, West Ham, Watford, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Norwich. Some nice fixtures there. So you could sort of set and forget a player there if you didn't want to. And they've got a double game week too. Granted, it's one of them will be Man City. But it's still a double game week, an extra chance of points there. A lot of love in the chat for United.
I was going to say United.
Yeah, do you want to maybe go on to that then, Kurt? Because they are playing better now.
They're playing better, and I think it's amazing what a very, very skillful playmaker can do. Because all of a sudden, with Fernandes, I think, one, him himself is a fantastic option. 2, you look at the attackers going forward. So you look at, I don't know, I think Martial's fit. I'm not sure about Rashford, but you've got Daniel James.
Players can make runs now, Kurt.
Yeah, exactly. Players can make runs and they'll be found.
And expect passes.
Exactly.
Look at Mata in recent weeks. He's been like...
Mata's looked a lot better.
He's looking like a rejuvenated, 25-year-old... Okay, I'm going to calm down a little bit. but the point...
The Mata that joined Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. He's making them... Him and Bruno's linked up really well. Martial's making the runs. James is making the run. And it suits United's style of play. Sorry to butt in. Sorry.
That's all right. And the second thing for me is that when you've got a player like that can feed balls into players, that they know that it's not just going to come through any one way. It could be over the top. It could have a long shot. It could be spread out wide. It gives a sort of, it sounds silly, but an element of fear factor into other teams. And that in itself will shore up Man United's back line. Not a lot, not drastic amounts, but it'll give them the odd clean sheet where you take Fernandes out and teams think, well, we can press forward a bit here, we can charge forward a bit, they're not going to do anything to us. But if they can, at the moment, if they charge forward, Fernandes has got the ability to think, he's making a run, I'll find him. And 9 times out of 9, most of the time, he will find him. And that means that defenders have to sit back, the teams have to be more calculated in the way they play. And I think in general, although I wouldn't say it's a must-have, a United defender could be a decent option. And then from set plays, you think you got Fernandes on set plays, you looked at what he did with Martial. The bloke's not on this planet at the moment. And whilst he's like that, I think you've got to snap up United assets. And they've got a decent running. And even then, the hard game at the end, it could be a game that means nothing.
Yeah, sure. What do you reckon, Jace?
Yeah.
I guess you agree with that.
I mean, with my Man United tinted glasses on, I've dabbled with United players this season. Still got Williams in my team, got Bruno Fernandes as well. But I think that previously it's all been about my heart over my head. Now my heart and my head is involved in making the decision to bring in United players. Like Bruno Fernandes, if you don't own him, I'm just going to say right now, he's going to punish you.
Yeah.
Keep going up in value. He is you just know when you see a player, you don't, whether you're a Liverpool fan, Tottenham fan. Sorry, I'm gonna get teary. No, it's amazing, and I think that he's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. United gonna have a good strong finish to the season. Goodbye Chelsea. They're having that Champions League spot.
Just to quickly add to that, then, Jay. So
yeah,
the only thing, because obviously I'm without Fernandes at the moment, and I keep thinking I got to get this guy in. It's a bit of a no-brainer, really. He's returned in basically every game he's played so far, bar the first game. But obviously, in seasons past, and even this season at the start of the year, when United beat Chelsea 4-0 in the opening game, we all piled in on United options.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that can happen again, where we all pile them in, we get Martial in, we get Maguire in a Wan-Bissaka, and then we regret it 2 weeks later? Do you think there's a chance that can happen, where we're maybe getting overhyped a bit? Or
I think that there's a good point to make. I think one of the key things that I see from United at the moment is they're happy. Martial's got a smile on his face. They're all
him and Fernandes seem to have hit it off a bit.
They believe in the team now. And Ole, he's back to being smiling. When he took over that honeymoon period when it all seemed all happy and results were going our way, and then it kind of fizzled out. And I just think that this is a great indication when a team is in high in confidence. If you're confident, Like going back to the players that are behind you, feeding the balls through. Like Kurt was saying, if teams aren't pushing forward because they know that there's a threat with, if you commit too much, Bruno Fernandes is going to unlock your defence and you're going to concede goals. I think the confidence is there in United midfield at the moment, and I think this is I think honestly now that it's a perfect time to get him in, and I really do. And if you are looking to free hit game week 31, I certainly would be if getting in Fernandes.
This is the thing, because if I want Fernandes, it kind of solidifies me free hitting in 31, really.
Yeah,
it's basically, do I get Fernandes in now and free hit, or do I save the free hit and not get? And it's
unfortunately, I'm waiting till game week 32, and I'm really worried about next game week.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Well, Tottenham at the moment, they're just 6s and 7s. I mean, their defence is... I just think that...
I almost just sacrificed a place in my team to have Bruno back in, just because I just don't think 31, I really don't want to kind of go into 31 without... I think this is half of my problem this season. I've been worried too much about the doubles and the blanks, and I'm not paying attention to the fixtures around it. And I just thought, I'm not doing it again. I want Bruno for the rest of the season. I'm going to get him in, and if, if I end up with 8 players for game week 31, or I have to take a hit for, 9 or 10, then I will do that, but Bruno stays.
Good point.
I'm just going to stick with form now and just try in, because at the beginning of this season, the reason I did so well was because I almost forgot about fixtures, and I was here preaching to you guys every week, forget about the fixtures, go with form. And if there's form and fixtures, then brilliant. But otherwise, just go with form. And I just kind of forgot all of that the last few weeks with all this craziness going on, and it's been, that person's got nice fixtures, that person's got nice fixtures, and yes, of course, when you look at Aston Villa doing badly and things like that, it's very hard not to kind of think of a team going up against them. But at the same time, I think it's a good idea to just try and remember that there's no point killing your team to get players in just because they play certain teams at certain times, unless you think that player can kind of unless you think that player has longevity in your team, basically.
I mean, is that the question you got to ask yourself is, Brett, is there a highly likelihood of Bruno Fernandes coming into your team and then staying in your team for the rest of the season?
For sure. With their with their double game week, will probably be 2 home games as well.
Exactly. So it's not like you're just, this isn't a short-term sort of thought process. This is setting you up for the foreseeable, for the rest of the season.
And you know what? If you are going to have him the rest of the season, and you really don't want a free hit in 31 like Jay, then there's just this if you don't want to, you can just go one more week without him. It's really you have to try and think about it that yes, it could hurt this week, but once you're over that, he's in your team, and then you've got him there for the rest of the season. Try not to kind of make a big, if I don't get him this week, then that's it. I can't have him now for the rest of the season,
Yeah, I get you. But you made a really good point there, Nim, because you've brought him in, even though you're not going to free hit in 31, but you've got him in. And at the end of the day, if he gets 1 goal against Spurs, which is plausible in the form that he's in.
I'm thinking of captaining him, so that tells you what I think about it.
And I think that's a good shout. So let's say he gets 7 or 8 points. That's 8 points in 30 and then a blank in 31. That's still an average of 4 points over the 2 game weeks, which is probably better than a lot of the players that you could bring in and they just blank in 31 anyway and get 2 points, so he could still outscore in 1 game week, so it's a good counter argument that even though he's blanking in 31, he might pay it off in 30 anyway, Yeah.
At this point, actually, we will go to Jeff's Corner now, but I do want to, I know we gave him a shout at the last stream, but we do need to shout out Jeff, because he's had Martial and Fernandes on his wildcard for a couple of weeks now. He's absolutely smashing it,
Top 1K now, he's like 700 or something.
Yeah, he's done amazing. He really has. So, for sure, the United assets are definitely back on the table. So on that, we will go over to Jeff's Corner question, and to those of you who are new to the channel, Jeff is a regular at Austin66UK. Go and check him out. He's really cool. He always gives us a random question every week to answer so that we can have a bit of fun at the end of the stream. And this week, he is asked, for the rest of your life, you can only consume food of 2 different colours. You all right?
Yeah, my cat's at the door.
Okay, let the cat in.
Cat wants to answer this question.
Don't leave the cat out in the cold, you know.
Cat's like, I've got an answer.
The colours relate to the food consumed, not any skin or peel. What colours would you choose? And I then went on to ask him, saying, does this matter if it's cooked or raw? And he said, I would say the colour raw is the deciding factor. So if it changes when it's cooked, it's okay. So steak is red, not brown, for instance. So, Brett, as our resident vegan, please tell me one of those options is going to be green. Otherwise, I'm going to be quite surprised.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
he didn't have green, and he's like, "Oh, I should have green."
Just because I'm vegan doesn't mean I just love like salads. I still like.
No, I know that. I know, but you know,
I just eat like the vegan version now. I still have burger and chips all the time.
Yeah.
It's grass.
I would probably say like yellow for fries. Because I just love fries, if that counts. Does that count?
I've gone with beige to cover those.
Okay, yeah. And then I mean, bananas yellow too. I like bananas too. You know, chips and bananas is like two.
Chips and bananas for the rest of your life.
Banana milkshakes, banana ice cream. What other yellow stuff is there?
So basically, Brett's happy to live on bananas for the rest of his life.
Yellow on what, Brett?
That
is tough. Probably brown for chocolate, like dark chocolate or something. I don't know. I'm a bit of a sweet tooth, so it'd be hard to go without chocolate, to be fair.
I went with red and beige because I was thinking like red would be like tomatoes, peppers, strawberries, all of that sort of stuff. And I thought then, like, if I go beige, I can have like pasta and chips and rice, maybe. Like, because that kind of goes, creamy color. I don't know, cream and red. They'd be my two. What about you, Jace?
Yeah, I went with yellow and green. So
Okay.
I am also on a plant-based diet.
Cool.
Nice.
So green is very, very wide, broad spectrum of food.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like calcium, iron, vitamins that you can get from certain fruits and vegetables that are green. And I went with yellow as well because I like bananas. I really love bananas.
We've got banana, but there's a new bromance happening here. The banana bromance.
So yeah, I've gone with green and yellow.
Cool.
Yeah,
I would miss my greens, to be fair.
On brand as well with the green.
Love vegetables. Yeah,
he's on brand.
Oh man, definitely.
I can see Jay's itching to answer, so I let him go next.
You've confused me because you've gone beige. So I feel like now if I say yellow, you're not going to let me have like pasta.
Say brown.
Because I was going to cover yellow covers cheese. I thought it covered pasta. It covers chips.
Yeah, but pasta isn't yellow. It's not yellow.
Dried pasta's yellow.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You might get dyed
Add some
yellow.
turmeric.
Yeah.
You could get coloured pasta anyway.
I guess egg pasta. Okay, egg pasta. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Egg pasta. I'll let you off.
And then red, just because I like burgers and I like steak.
Right, so you just copied me.
You don't cook them.
Well, no, but we covered this. Don't do this to me.
Fine,
don't take it away.
Can I have red onions in my red? Because they're called red onions, but they're not technically red.
I don't know.
Maybe Jeff has be kind and let me. Anyway.
Well, like red cabbage.
I want to know. Yeah, exactly. And I love red cabbage. Okay, Kurt, what about you?
Well, all the sort of if it's cooked or not has thrown me because one of them would have been yellow, but not something anyone else has said because of scrambled egg.
Yeah.
I love me a bit of scrambled egg, but if it's before it's cooked, then obviously the eggs are brown. The inside of it's clear and a bit yellow.
So to have an egg, you have to say two colours.
These questions are almost so much deeper than they seem on the surface.
But I'd say if you allow me to have an egg, I'd say yellow. It covers cheese as well, and then also red because I'm a massive fan of steak. If I dye my chips, I can have steak and chips. That sort of covers pizza. but I
Have you
don't
not
think I'll be
watched the
allowed
YouTube
that.
videos? You're not allowed to food dye your food. The challenge is very strict.
But no, red and yellow I think is the safest bet because it covers a lot of meat and it covers a lot of foods. Yellow.
Cool. Okay then. Right. Jay, shall I do the polls, or do
Yes,
you want to
because
do
I
them?
don't have any pages up.
Okay, so guys, we've spoken to a few creators around. I'm not sure if Jason's had the same problem, but we've definitely struggled to do polls on YouTube since they brought in the new creator system, and so have a couple of the others apparently. So we put our poll on Twitter this week, and so I will just give you the answer to that. We asked, is Bruno Fernandes now essential? We had 67 votes and we had 67% said yes and 34% said no. So, it's pretty decisive. Do we keep KDB considering his injury, possible rotation and blank game week in 31? This was a bit more mixed. We had 88 votes and it was 56% yes and 44% no. So, a bit closer, that one. And who is your FPL Game Week 30 captain? The top 4 were currently choices driven by our sponsors poll at Fantasy Football Scout. Scoutcast was live before, so go check out the replay. And we had 67 votes. Aubameyang 33%, Salah 40%, De Bruyne 21%, and Trent at 6%. So Salah just winning out over Aubameyang there, but it does look like it's going to be a kind of Salah and Aubameyang race there for captaincy on the top ones. No real shocks there. And so we'll wrap it up there. Just to say a massive thank you to Jason. It is Elite FPL. I'm aware I messed up a little bit there at the beginning, so sorry about that. Just so used to sticking FPL before in front of everything.
No, trust me, it's fine. It's no, like I said, I'm very grateful to be given the opportunity to come and join you guys and have a chat with you and get your thoughts about fantasy football. Get to know you guys. I've met Brett before. I haven't met you, Kurt, before, and I know Jano. It's been a while since we last spoke. And it's been a great experience. I really appreciate being on the show.
I know
absolute pleasure.
We've definitely talked about doing some stuff together at some point, so we really should kind of do that. And hopefully we might get lucky chance to both be at the awards this year and get to catch up there, because I know you guys will be there for definite. So hopefully,
fingers crossed. We're grateful to be even nominated, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll be cool. So thank you again so much, dude, and also give our love to Steve-O as well. So, and I'm sure I'll be over on your channel soon enough.
Welcome anytime.
Cool. Okay then, Jay, you want to finish us up?
Yeah, sorry, Jason, what did you zoom in on?
Oh yeah, I was trying to get the cat, but you can't. I noticed on the stream you've cropped the camera down a little bit to keep it in. But the cat was like literally just about to drink from the tap. He's got this habit. The cat literally, he's got a water bowl with fresh water, but he prefers to drink from the tap and like lick it, lap up the water from the tap. I literally.
He's a wildcat, baby.
He's off the chain. Like he's just blows my mind, that cat sometimes.
Okay, so I just really wanted to clear that up before I carry on. So thank you guys for joining us, of course. Again, thank you to Jason from Elite FPL for joining us on the stream. Make sure to follow us on social media, on Twitter, so you're aware of when our next stream will be. Make sure to like the video and subscribe, and of course go check out Elite FPL. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Cheers, thank you.